Hello and welcome to Nick's Vintage Book Chat, the next episode. I hope you've been enjoying what I've been recommending up to now and read one or two other books. Um, this week's book is Smallbone Deceased by Michael Gilbert. First published in 1950. This is a 1970s reprint, Penguin Crime, with a nice picture of a skeleton with a suit on on cover. Quite a good photograph. So yeah, first published in 1950. So it's a golden age detective novel, right in the middle of it. Michael Gilbert was a prolific writer, like a lot of them were. Wrote for many years and lots of lots of books. I've read two or three and I've enjoyed them. This one is set in a solicitor's office in Lincoln's Inn in London. The principal character is a man called Henry. I think it's pronounced Boone. It's spelled Bohun, Boone or Bowen maybe. I'll call him Boone just to make it easier. Henry Boone, he comes out of the Second World War and he trains to be a solicitor and gets a job at the firm of Horniman, Burley and Crane of Lincoln's Inn Fields in London, as I say. And after he's been there a few weeks, a problem arises in the firm. One of the trustees, Mr. Smallbone, Marcus Smallbone, has gone AWOL and disappeared just when they need him to, just when they need his signature to move some stock from one of the big holdings that they have, the company. So they're trying to find him. He eventually turns up. You've guessed it, dead, inside a deed box in an office in the company, which surprised me because I always imagined a deed box as being quite a small thing, but apparently not. It's large enough to hold a human body, and Mr. Smallbone has been put in this deed box by someone. After being garroted by him to start with, and he's been in there several weeks before he's discovered. So there was quite a nasty smell emanating from this box, and they found him in there after a few weeks. So not a pretty sight for whoever found him, really, opening that up. So Inspector Hazelrig of Scotland Yard is called in. Hazelrig is a recurring character in some of Michael Gilbert's books, so he will pop up in quite a few of his books. Is the old-fashioned, typical thinking man's policeman. I always think they are in these older books. It's quite methodical. No fancy stuff from him. You know, he does his job, thinks about it deeply, and goes about it in a very methodical way. Not like somebody like Inspector Morse, who always seems to be with a big finish all the time. This fella Hazelrig works through it at a more leisurely pace, shall we say, and follows police procedure a bit more. So he's called in to look into the death of Smallbone, and he kind of joins forces with Henry Boone, who's got quite a few skills after being in World War II, and he acts as a kind of inside man for Hazelrig inside the firm. So they kind of work in tandem, not together, like they're both investigating got their own things that they're looking into, but they keep coming together and putting their heads together and telling each other what they've found out, and they work quite well in tandem as a team. I quite enjoyed the relationship between the two. All the characters are well drawn in the book, in fact, really good. Initially, it seems that the murder has been done by an older partner of the firm who died a few weeks earlier. He seemed to have got into some dodgy stuff, and it looks as though he's killed Smallbone and put him in the deed box. But another body turns up, one of the secretaries, and so Hazelrig has to alter his theory a little bit and start looking for the murderer anew. And the book moves along at a nice pace then, with Hazelrig and Henry Boone, as I say, working pretty much in tandem to try and catch the killer. And it's a good book. It reads well. It's very easy reading. There's quite a lot of it's completely set inside the solicitor's office, really. So there's a lot of detail about the workings of a solicitor's office, and some legal jargon in it, but nothing you can't follow. I mean, I don't know anything about the solicitors or the law, but I could follow it quite easily, and it's quite interesting. It gives you a good insight into how our solicitor's office works. You can really believe in the characters, the secretaries and the solicitors. There's a couple of spivs in there, like there always is with books from this era. Michael Gilbert himself, kind of mirroring Henry Boone in the book. Michael Gilbert himself served in World War II. In fact, he was a prisoner of war in World War II. And after that, he joined a firm of solicitors in Lincoln's Inn, London. So he's kind of drawing on his own experiences there, I should imagine, for writing this book. And it gives the book kind of an authenticity, I suppose. You can really believe that that's how a solicitor's works, and the characters are very very believable. The conversations and their interaction. It really reads true to life, if you like. So I would definitely recommend it. And I'd recommend Michael Gilbert in general. As I say, I've read 2 or 3 others of his books. Very good, very well written, very well esteemed in his day. Other authors, really respected him as a good writer. In fact, H.R.F. Keating, who were another writer of mystery stories, he actually chose this particular book, Smallbone Deceased, as one of his 100 best crime and mystery novels. I'm not sure what year he chose that, but he actually put that in his top 100. So that's pretty high praise, because H.R.F. Keating were no slouch himself at detective writing mystery novels. So it's well worth. It's a good place to start with Michael Gilbert if you want to try out any of his books. I'd recommend this one definitely. As I say, this is a reprint from 1970s. I assume I don't know if his books are still in print now. The British Library Crime Classics might do some of his. I'm sure they will. They do a lot of authors from this era. But they're quite easy to get hold of. If you go in any decent second-hand bookshop, you'll probably find 1 or 2 of his books, no problem. Or there's always the old internet if you want to order some. One thing I should say, and I think I've said it before, about books from this era is just be mindful of the language and some of the stereotyping of people. It's of its time and of its era, so it's sometimes we read words in these books that they're frowned upon nowadays, aren't they? But it's of its time, so you know we've got to take that into account when we're reading these books. But I can definitely recommend it. A good read, 208 pages, so not a thick book. I think I read it in a couple of days. I really enjoyed it. Like a lot of these books, you want to find out who did it. I can't wait to get to end and find out who did it. Like I keep saying to you, I can never suss it out who's done the deed. But it keeps your page turning. A lot of red herrings. Good plot. As I say, moves along very good pace. Don't really slow down. A good mystery book. That's the book this week. Michael Gilbert, Smallbone Deceased. Thanks for watching. If you want to give us a thumbs up, or you can subscribe and leave a comment, be very much welcome. See you next time. Toodle pip.